When I set a goal in business or sport, I sign a personal contract with myself. When I've signed that contract, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I don't like the person that I become. When I set a serious goal, I do something. I set a binding contract with myself. And sometimes in the past, I've been afraid to say yes. Yes to that goal and yes to that contract because I know exactly what is going to happen. And when I say yes, that is when the chaos really gets started. So I've signed that binded contract. And like I said, I know exactly what's coming next. I live and I breathe that goal. That goal is the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning. That goal is what frustrates me throughout the day. And that goal is what keeps me awake at night. I am laser focused on that goal. Nothing else matters. Every little thing towards that goal needs to fall into place. It's all about the little things, the small things. And I can be an absolute nightmare to live with because I'm very laser focused. I am, when you are reaching for greatness, when you want to achieve something fantastic, you can go into selfish mode, and I well and truly go into selfish mode, and everybody suffers around me because I am on a mission and I will do what it takes to reach that goal. And I know when I've signed that binding contract with myself exactly what's going to happen, and it can cause absolute destruction, absolute mayhem, and it can make not only me unhappy, but the people around me unhappy. And what I have to realize is that I did not know this. I did not know this probably for about 10 years into building businesses. I did not know this at all. And it's only the last few years where I've really got to identify my issue. And my wife would sit there and say, are you going to set that goal? Or do you want to achieve this goal? And I always say to her, not yet. Not yet. She goes, what do you mean not yet? I'm like, I don't want to sign the contract to myself yet because I know what's going to happen. I know the places I'm going to go. And I have delayed the misery. And I've tried to work around it. I've tried to not be that living and breathing that goal, but it's been impossible sometimes. It's just a habit which is now ingrained in me from building a business. Yeah, when I set a goal, I go all in. I live, I breathe that goal. I eat that goal for breakfast, dinner, and tea. And so I've been well aware of what happens when I wouldn't have been in the first 10 years. And I've tried to work through this. I've tried to come up with ways where maybe I live and breathe it for a certain amount of hours a day, or I have some valuable time where I live and breathe that goal. But if you don't identify that maybe you have this problem, not only are you going to cause yourself misery, but you're going to cause the environment around you to be miserable because you are laser focused on a goal. And sometimes the family gets parked to a side when you do that. And when it doesn't go your way, you get highly frustrated. So here's the thing about discipline, which nobody tells you. People say on it, it's a good thing to be disciplined. And yeah, I live the lifestyle I live with my family, thanks to a whole heap of discipline. But nobody teaches you this side of discipline. Have discipline and you will be a big success. Have discipline and you will lose weight. Have discipline and you will do this and you will do that. But when you get deep dive into that discipline, it can create a cage around you, a cage which ultimately keeps you locked in, a cage which can drive you absolutely crazy and strip away all happiness as you laser focus on those goals. So don't get me wrong, discipline is really good if you don't get obsessed with being disciplined. Yeah, it's all about balance. And that is something I've had to learn over the last few years, is how to balance my discipline when I'm setting goals. Because guilt would set in when I would take a day off. Guilt would set in when, I had to spend some time with the family because I'm not working on the goal. And that caged my life. That made life a misery, not just for me, but for everybody around me, because I wasn't the real me in the moment with my family. I was up here thinking I'm with you when I should be working on my goals. But really, It should be I'm with my family, thinking on my families. I'm working on my goals to give my family a better life, not I'm spending time with my family and thinking about my goals. Now, I'm not telling you not to set goals. I certainly will continue to set goals. Goals feed me, but I had to find a different way to set those goals. I'm not telling you not to be disciplined, because discipline is so important in life if you want to achieve something. Yeah, goal setting discipline, it is very important. However, you have to find that balance. Yep. You have to identify, why are you setting that goal? What do you want to achieve from that goal? If that goal is to build a better life for your family, you don't want to let them down on the way. You don't want to push them to a side and be solely focused on that goal, because when you might achieve that goal, that family might have disappeared. Yeah. So it's all about balance. It's all about identifying why you're being disciplined, why you are setting goals. And when it comes to family time and setting goals, there's got to be a balance. Yeah. It can't all be goal, 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 goal. Tell me in the comment box below, has setting a goal turned you into someone you didn't like or didn't recognize? And I answer every single comment. But I hope you enjoyed all the videos on the drift. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video.